Hey everybody, this one is about wiggles. So this was the chart where I asked Perplexity out of 11 times what the odds were of one of them being within the low of the day within 2 minutes, another one being at the high of the day within 2 minutes, and another um a key high or low on the day exact, and that's where I got the answer 1 in 15 million, considering the number of 1-minute bars in the New York Stock Exchange, picking 11 times at random. So there's definitely something going on here. If you want to find out more, continue watching. I'm going to use just today as an example because there's a lot of events. And so this video, it's not so much what generates these times, but what I mean conceptually, so you know how to use them in the right way. So there are really two concepts at work, and they are applying on different time frames, so to speak. One is a period of time, a block of time, has a start and an end, and I'm calling that trend. Does not mean that everything is directional throughout. I'm not necessarily saying, and they can change based on news, but here's a good example. The trend in play from 2 a.m. was clearly bearish for ES, and I might have a different view if the decline had a sharp decline in front of this and then this one had recovered, but it's not the way it happened. And so trend is in play. If I mention one that pre-market, it's in play until the next one listed of that type, which I'm going to list the larger events in orange on my charts from now on for clarity. Then the equivalent on a mini scale is what I'm calling change of tone. Those are the blue lines. And actually, these have been remarkably effective on many important changes intraday on the ES. And for example, today's 11:02. Well, there was a key morning high right at 11. So ding, that's within 2 minutes. And then this afternoon one, I thought it was going to be kind of, there was two events happening simultaneously. I thought the larger one might be slower, but this one was improvement from previous, and that carried the day. So this turned out kind of flattish, and this one trended up. So within those periods, we have what I'm calling turns. Turns are a different concept. They are intensifications into that time, and then they tend to dissipate. Now, the pre-market one at 9:20, I don't usually list pre-market. That was a much larger event, and I probably should have specified 10 to 20 minutes either side, and that did create, but usually they're not quite like that. Usually they're between, let's just say, 5 minutes either side. So a more typical example was today at noon, minor pullback low there, lunchtime. But there was one 3:15 that I said was going to impact commodities a little bit more, and that was a low in the crude oil futures contract today, exact to the minute. Then the smaller blue arrows are the same idea. It's an intensification into that time, but it may not be enough to like really cause a major low or a major high. Those are still relatively rare. For example, there was notable selling down into this 933 first time listed, but two wide-ranging bars in front of that, but it didn't form a low because there was more selling here. This one was a big surge, but it didn't stop it. This I had actually removed so you could see the line, but a good example is something like here, and then here 1 minute away. So again, it's not a standalone system, but I've been combining with my usual reversals. Save that for another day. So hopefully this clarifies the concepts. They'll be, I think, especially notable on a day like tomorrow, high volume day in the markets on Wednesday. And if you have any questions about what I've talked about here, feel free to reply or on X. And thanks a lot for your interest in this this admittedly somewhat crazy project.